Hi, I'm Jimmy Gnecco,
We're Mount Holly.
and you're watching.
Click on this.
Hey, click on this. It's Flex. It's been a while since I got to spend some time with you. But here we are tonight at the Auto Bar, one of my favorite venues on Howard Street, downtown Baltimore. We've got Jimmy Gnecco and the Ours Band. That's O-U-R-S, the Ours Band. Here, playing live for us. We're going to talk to him. We're going to watch him live. Come join us. Here we are at the Auto Bar with Jimmy Gnecco and Ours. Great time tonight. We're looking forward to this. And Jimmy, I'm a relatively new listener of yours. When I first listened to you, I'm hearing a lot of Jeff Buckley. I'm hearing Butch Walker. I'm hearing one of my favorites, the late Jeff Buckley. One of my favorites, the late Josh Clayton-Felt. These are guys that I hear because I know you're a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. Okay, and these are guys that I've listened to in the past and I really enjoyed. And upon reading about you, I learned that you actually had a solid relationship with Jeff Buckley and actually have written some songs about him. So can you fill us in on maybe a little bit about you, how you got in touch with Jeff Buckley, how that came about, and some of your influences?
Sure. Well, I started back in around 1987, and I was playing around New York and New Jersey area. And I guess I started the Ours idea and project in 1992, and kind of did that for a bit. And we played a lot and had a tough time really finding an audience at first. So we started to really feel good about what we were doing, but we were having trouble, like I said, finding an audience for it. So I decided to take a little bit of time off and I just travel around. And in that time, as far as like the Jeff connection thing, that's when I heard him in around late 94, I heard him and I felt like, oh no. I felt a couple things. I felt, oh no, like it's kind of what I was doing, the vibe of what we were doing. But I also felt, oh, he's really good at it. I was kind of already on my path, though, by the time that I heard him. So it wasn't a situation where I heard him and said, okay, I'm going to go put together a band and try to sing this way. I was already singing this way. I was singing this way in the falsetto. I think what it is, why there might be a similarity between Jeff and I think you have to go back further than Jeff for me and look at my influences, which was soul music. And there's a lot of the falsetto stuff in soul music. It's all over the place.
What were you listening to?
Well, I grew up on Motown, a lot of Motown stuff, and a lot of Elvis Presley. At that time, around 1992, I was really into actually Sarah McLachlan. She put a record out called Solace, and again, a lot of falsetto singing in that, and I think I was probably more influenced to embrace my falsetto from Sarah McLachlan than I was Jeff.
Okay.
So yeah, that just happened to be one of those things. You know, there were a lot of us, and I adored Jeff. I really did. I got to know him, and I wasn't what you would call a great friend of his. I loved him very much, though, because he was a good soul. And I loved his work, you know, but you know, we were, I guess, somehow brought together by people who knew him and knew me and said, it's too weird that you guys don't know each other. There's something going on with the two of you. You sure you don't know him? And I said, no, I don't know him. Yeah, and Jeff and I actually have very, very different voices. If you would actually study our voices and hear them, we both go for this kind of this howling thing, but you think you can trace that back to Robert Plant. So that takes care of that.
Right. So that's an influence as well.
So right there. So both of us are kind of doing a Robert Plant, who's also doing a blues,
sure,
you know, howling wolf, Buddy Guy kind of thing.
Right.
James Brown, Prince even, I loved Prince. So all that falsetto and the like the kind of wailing, Prince does it all over When Doves Cry, like everything. So I think just because I was white and kind of looked maybe a little bit like Jeff, we can say, okay, it's more like Jeff, but I think we were both into
Sure.
similar things. But being in the same sentence, it's a nice thing, but it's like I said, it's also been tough to get away from that.
Right.
But Jeff had a much higher voice than me, speaking voice. I can get really, really low. So again, it's not to compare or say he's better because I have a much bigger range, but I have a much bigger range singing than Jeff did. And I really try to utilize my low range for that reason, because I like singing down there as well.
Let's change things up a little bit here. This has been talked about for the last 5-10 years. It's very current right now. Streaming services, legal streaming services. How do you feel about it? Do you think it helps musicians? Do you think it takes away? You guys not getting a good enough chunk of this?
Well, there are a lot of opinions on it. Some people, I guess, who are selling 20,000 tickets a night might feel like it's helping them, but it's not helping us. I have some songs that have millions of streams, and I've seen $40, $60 here and there. I'm not obsessed with the money side of doing this. It'd be nice to make enough to keep doing it.
Sure.
But the streaming, personally, my opinion on it, and I'll become very unpopular with any labels for this, but I'm already unpopular with labels for speaking my mind. I think something's going on I think they're cut in with Spotify. It's a bold thing to say. Something's going on. There's no way that they would just give all these rights to play all this music to somebody like Spotify. Personally, I can be completely wrong. I think something happened with Napster. The labels caught on to it too late. But eventually they did catch on to it and they shut it down. I think after that, everybody was blown away that these kids were able to do this. And something tells me that somebody from Napster went to Spotify, is involved with Spotify, and probably went to the labels and said, now you want to get on the ground level this time? You see what we're capable of doing, and we're going to do it again to you and take everything. So you can choose to be in on it. And I feel like they've struck some sort of deal that none of us are seeing, because I think it's way off. It's way off. And these labels, they're in this for money. It's that simple. They're not in for the love of it. They're in for the love of the lifestyle, maybe, but not the love of the music necessarily. Most of them, it's a money thing. So there's no way that they'd give the rights to all of these artists away to something like Spotify if they weren't being seriously cut in on it. And we're not seeing any of it. And that's the hard truth. So you can't blame anybody for streaming, because they look at it like, okay, I paid $10 a month and I can get all this music. They feel like they're paying already. They already feel like they're paying their money like we would with cable or something like that. So if HBO or Showtime, whoever it was, if they weren't paying the proper things for the movies, you as a cable subscriber, you're not really going to feel bad about it. You're paying a lot of money every month for your cable, so you can't blame the consumer. They don't know. That's all they know now. And the convenience of having something like that, a streaming thing where you can pull up anything and have it, it's a cool thing. So I can't fight with the technology side of it. I just think that Spotify, they came in too low with the price. First, they gave it to people to get people hooked, like some free part of it. It wasn't the full thing. Partial something.
Right.
And then, but what is it, $10 a month or something like that for Spotify? I just think they came in too low. To have nonstop access to all music, personally, I think that somebody should be paying $25, $30 a month for that minimally. So now Spotify's coming that low. How are they going to raise it now? They already set that thing because they wanted everybody to get on it. So now the consumer's not going to want to pay more. So they completely screwed us.
Yeah.
They completely screwed us. So we get nothing. So somebody can stream something, like I said, millions of times. And we're literally seeing, I see something, oh, wow, somebody played this 12,000 times.
What do you
40
see?
cents.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So going on the music, the new music and streaming line, you came to Baltimore tonight, which we're grateful. Do you have any new music coming out? And are you on a label these days? Do it yourself?
Not on a label.
Okay.
Over the last year and a half, we took over a building and brought all of our recording gear in, and we've just been trying to record as much as possible. I have about 200 songs that we're trying to record, so we have 40 recorded so far. I write a lot, and I always have over these years. And my problem with the labels is that each record would take 5-6 years in the cycle. We'd finish a record, and then they would say, okay, well, now let's figure out what to do with it. And then it'd take another year and a half before they put it out. And that year and a half, you can't do anything. It's not like you're an actor and you made a movie. And sure, you put the movie out whenever you can put it on the schedule. In the process, you know, we're going to make 3 more movies and get paid. We're just waiting. We're waiting to go out and tour. It's bad enough we don't make any money from the sale of them. And then you wait all that time to go out and tour. It just became a nightmare on labels for us. My last real label that I was on, Columbia Records, with Rick Rubin, American Columbia, Rick I absolutely love, and I will always be grateful, you know, for what he's done for me, and he's been a great friend. But I had to get off Columbia. It had nothing to do with him. I would sign with him again tomorrow, but not with one of these big major labels. Is not really. They have no use for us anymore. That's the truth. They have no use. They probably, in all honesty, have no use for even somebody like a Guns N' Roses. Not that I love Guns N' Roses, but they'd have no use for them.
It's very formulaic these days.
Yeah, I mean, somebody like Guns N' Roses, that, you know, who knows if they'd sell 100,000 records, 200,000 records at this point. You got people like Lenny Kravitz selling 30,000 records, right, if he's lucky. The labels, all they're going to do is, at this point, want every bit of everybody's career. They're going to want your live stuff, and I'm not going to give that up.
That's a smart move.
It's never going to happen. So if we happen to find a label that loves our music, we're going to finish up some songs. We'll have 2 records worth, and we find a label that happens to love the music and believes in it, and we can make some sort of fair deal. And look, we want them to make money just the same. There's no reason for them to do it if they couldn't. So we would want them to make money, but it's really grim. It's a bleak time for anybody to really make money. A handful of them still, you know, selling some records. Justin Bieber maybe, and maybe his next one won't. It's I don't know. It's tough. I don't know anybody that's really selling. Mm-hmm. I know, you know, you had a rock band like Pretty Reckless. They had a good run there, and they sold a handful of records, and everybody got really excited about it. And you look at it, it's probably like still maybe, I don't know. I could be pulling the numbers out of the air, but maybe 400,000 records, and that's a massive success these days. Look, I'd love to sell 400,000 records, but
well. Something else I found online when I was searching through your music, a lot of dance remixes. And listening to your music doesn't stand out to me as something I would hear at a dance club. Not that Flex is hanging out at dance clubs, but it's not what I would expect to hear. But did you have anything to do with this? Is it something that you were part of? Did it just come about and someone approached you about it?
I don't know of many of them, to tell you the truth. I know that I did a song with some friends of mine, these guys, the Disco Killers, back around 2 years ago now. I sang on a song of theirs, and it's kind of been all over the place. I know, so if that's what you're talking about, what you've seen, Morgan Page has done a mix of it, and a bunch of other people have done these mixes of this one song, and it's on the Billboard dance charts. It's been there for a few weeks. Oddly enough, yeah.
You see any money from that?
0. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna change it up again on you. This is something that definitely hit me hard, and I'm gonna show you something, and it's gonna stand out to you. I don't know about the rest of your fans, but so I found out on your website that I am Baltimore's biggest Edmonton Oilers fan. And I'm on your website, and I see this. I saw the video. I saw it on opening day a month ago. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm interviewing this guy tonight. This is so cool. So how did you get involved in the Edmonton Oilers opening video for the 2016-2017 season? Did you get to meet the guys, and what was your connection?
I haven't met them yet, but my buddy who's done a bunch of music videos for us, he's from Edmonton. and he was doing the piece for them. He called me up and asked me if I would put something together for them. And his name is Michael Maxis, and he's a great supporter of mine and the band's. And so he pulled me into it. That's the connection there. And they wanted a really exciting, everybody uses the word epic. So everything's epic. But they wanted something really exciting, and I guess, you started to say primal kind of feeling. Warriors, he was telling me about these guys are warriors. And I had some things that I was working on for the new record. This one song that's kind of like a big anthem. And there's this big chorus, and I get to it and I say, bring it on now, bring it on now. And I felt like that would be really good for it. And so I reworked some of it, and I built this kind of piece, this 3-minute piece that builds and builds and builds, and up to this crescendo where I do this big scream thing. And then it normally ends with this vocal, bring it on. And we were so excited about it because we watched it to the video and we said, wow, it's really moving. And then the Oilers guys loved it.
All right, this is Flex with Click On This in Baltimore, Auto Bar tonight. We've got Mount Holly from California, Deanna, Nick, Jameson, and John. Is that correct? All right, I just learned about you guys tonight. And I wouldn't have known about you if it hadn't been for Jimmy Gnecco. You guys rocked the stage. This voice right here, Jameson, blew me away. These pants right here from Nick. My goodness, these pants. And the matching with the guitar accent, fantastic. But on top of that, fantastic guitar playing. Percussion section, rhythm, you guys rocked. So, tell us about, go ahead. I'm going to hand the mic over to you guys. Tell us about yourselves, because we don't know who you are until tonight. So I'm starting with Deanna. Take about 15, 30 minute, whatever you want. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Deanna Passarella, and I play bass in Mount Holly. I moved to LA from Nashville. I was friends with Nick, and I loved the way he played, and we just started hanging out. Met John through him, and started jamming, and this is what happened. So.
Let's do it, Nick.
Hello.
The pants guy right here.
The pants guy. My name is Nick Perry. I play the guitar, the electric guitar, acoustic on occasion, but electric. And yeah, we're a rock and roll band from Southern California.
What are your influences?
Kind of varied. On the guitar playing side, I would say more bluesy stuff. I grew up
Can hear that.
with bluesier influences, Hendrix and David Gilmour, and
Very showy, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you were definitely.
I get excited
were
about playing.
entertaining.
I get excited about playing.
Okay.
And I'm a Michael Jackson fan as well.
Nothing wrong. I love
So,
Michael Jackson.
putting
Off
on
the
a show-
Wall is the best album.
I agree with you. I have it on vinyl, an original pressing.
Good stuff.
So yeah, we all met in an organic way and decided we wanted to play music together. That's why bands start. You have a common vision, a common goal.
Did you guys meet in Southern California, or did you meet elsewhere?
We all met together in Southern California. Well, actually, I met Deanna in Nashville.
Okay.
But we all started playing music together in Southern California.
Okay. Jameson, this is the man with the vocals. I mean, everybody was screaming about his vocals tonight. Good stuff. I mean, hearing it, all that I can think of is Robert Plant. But I mean, on top of that, I'm sure you hear those comparisons a lot. Tell us about yourself. Where did you get your vocal training? Did you do it on your own? Did you train with somebody else? And how did you come together with these guys? And what is exactly your sound? Because in the short amount of time that I heard you, I couldn't pinpoint it, but it excited me. That's all I can say.
Well, I think that's a good compliment if you can't pinpoint it. I think that's a personal goal of mine, is if you can't pinpoint it, maybe that means something a little bit new is happening, which I think is great. As far as me, I grew up in Orange County, just about an hour south of Los Angeles. Live in Los Angeles now. Known Nick for years. I've known John for years. And when we hooked up a couple of years ago, obviously met Deanna, and things just happened really kind of organically, and started writing a bunch of songs together. And here we are. My voice, I played guitar for my whole childhood. I never wanted to be a singer, and then kind of did it out of necessity to start, when I was about 17, to start playing bars, because people didn't just want to listen to me play guitar, so I started singing, and I don't know, found my voice over just years of learning from other people, and not a whole lot of training, but just like finding my way. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
Let's bring John in here. John, I mean, as I said, the rhythm section was very tight tonight. Where did you get your influences? And I mean, obviously you've known the guys for a long time, but where did the influences come from, and how did you guys form this bond?
Well, the influences, I can name a lot of names. A lot of great drummers: John Bonham, Steve Gadd, Steve Jordan, all the Steves, really. But really, I mean, it came from my own life experiences. The way I play everything, it comes from the blues. It comes from pain and suffering. It comes from joy. It comes from everything. And when I met Nick. I walked into a bar and he was doing some jam night thing in Hollywood, and I've heard of the guy. Everyone's heard of him.
I gotta ask, which bar?
It was actually, it's not there anymore. Piano bar.
Just closed.
Yeah, just closed. They just shut it down to build a goddamn hotel. But yeah, I walked into that room and I saw Nick playing, and he embodied pretty much every guitar god that I had ever seen in my entire life. We started jamming together. Fast forward, we decided to start this band, and Deanna was jamming with us too, and we were like, maybe we should make this a band. And then Nick goes, "Do you know this guy Jameson Burt?" And I'm like, "Do I know that?" We've known each other since we were kids, basically, like 18, 19,
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, yeah, he's good. But yeah, that's kind of how everything came together, and me and Nick hit it off because of the blues. classic rock,
Right.
and just playing from your heart, playing authentically. Yeah, and that was kind of the foundation of the band.
Right on. So, as you guys alluded to on stage, you're still working on the first album, correct?
We just finished.
Okay. So when is the crowd expecting this first album?
Tentatively, we're looking at an April release.
Okay.
We're fortunate enough after some playing and a bit of a buzz to get hooked up with a great label and
Okay.
some great
So
management. Yep.
Okay.
We're on a label called Razor and Tie.
Okay.
The record's done. We spent literally a year on it.
Okay.
Not continuous recording for a year, but there's a lot of ins and outs and what have yous, as the dude would say.
Have you heard the final?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've heard every step of the way.
Cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
And are you going to come back to Baltimore?
Of course we are.
Yeah.
We're going to be on the road for probably 2 years supporting it, so we'll be back.
You guys had a good. People were enjoying you tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the Auto Bar. This is Baltimore. Auto Bar is a historic bar in Baltimore. We've had a lot of great acts come through Auto Bar. They used to be downtown. We're still downtown. We used to be downtown. Now we're a little bit uptown. Auto Bar has been a great venue for a lot of great acts that I'm sure have influenced you all, have influenced me. I've played here myself, had a great time. So when can we expect the release of this album? Do we know that? April, and on top of that, I mean, do we know about a future tour? Are you going to come through here headlining? You going to come through here opening act?
You'll have to
That's to be determined.
Okay.
you'll have to wait and see.
Okay.